few of your natural programs which are in your nervous system, because I actually believe that every shot that you take, all the good shots and all the bad shots, are actually recorded in your nervous system. So your body knows how to play good shots, it knows how to play bad shots. Your problem is getting access to the good shots while avoiding the bad shots. Now, this is something I just wrote today. I picked up a book, right, on golf, and this was an instruction on how to actually get the mechanics right for your swing. So I picked this up, and I'll just read this out if you can't read it. And it says, right, so here it is. First of all, you hold the club with your right hand below your left. Then you make sure that the V is formed between the thumb and index of each hand and points up towards your left shoulder. Right. Stand by with your feet comfortably apart and place the ball somewhere between the middle of your stance and your left heel. Okay. Then you make sure that the club face is square on address. Then you bend from the hips and flex the knees. Take the club back smoothly, keeping your left arm reasonably straight. Okay. Keep your head still. Keep the club on the right plane, but above all, relax. And these were the instructions I found today, and I just thought this is really funny. I have to actually put this down on paper. But in actual fact, that's probably quite typical of the sort of instructions you're going to actually find. And what people tend to do is there's what I call a difference between learning and understanding. And what people believe is if they really understand golf, they'll be able to play better. But the actual real fact is you need to be able to learn how to play golf, and there's a difference. And what I mean by learning is it has to be integrated into your nervous system. You have to be able to do an autopilot, because golf is a completely unconscious game. You cannot play golf consciously. But however, so what happens is people go out and they'll take more instructions, they'll buy more and more books, but in actual fact, that's the very thing that's actually taking you further and further away from your goal of playing consistent, stress-free golf at your potential. These are the very things that most of the industry are telling you to do, are the very things that are going to hold you back. And what I would like to suggest is that if you have been playing golf for a number of years and you can hit the ball quite well, and you've actually had quite a lot of good games, and I would suggest right now is you probably have everything you need to play the best golf you're actually capable of. The answers don't lie on the outside, they actually lie on the inside. It's going back to the invisible. So for a moment here, if you think about the reasons for taking up golf, if you've been playing golf for a number of years, if you think way back to the first time when you first started to take up golf, these are the reasons that seem to be the popular ones. First of all, it could be a challenge of the game, right? Secondly, it could be to get exercise, okay? To get peace and quiet, to be with the family. In some cases, some people will do it to get away from the family. To prove themselves, and also to get business for some people. But if you remember when you started playing golf, you'll probably remember at the beginning there was a period where you actually made quick progress. You went from a beginner to somebody who was an intermediate golfer, and you made quick progress. And the reason you made quick progress was at that point in the game, it was fun. You didn't really care what people thought about you. You weren't trying to achieve anything, and your focus was only in the moment, and it was all about having fun. And that is one of the keys. Making your golf fun will allow you to learn, or in other words, be able to implement all these technical abilities that you see around you. So what tends to happen is it starts off as fun, but then all of a sudden you start to get good and people start to compliment you. In fact, I was speaking to somebody the other night, and one of her problems, she says to me, is I hate when somebody compliments me, because as soon as they compliment me, I say to myself, how did I do that? And I try and replicate it. And what actually happens is once I try and replicate it, it just falls to bits. And the reason being is that when you first play golf, you're on autopilot, you're having fun, and your unconscious mind is just delivering exactly what it is you want to deliver. But the minute you make a shift from having fun and being in the moment to actually sustaining performance, that's when you blow it. The connection is actually lost. Now, psychologists actually tell us that in the first 5 years of our life, we learn half of everything in the first 5 years of our life, and the rest of our life we only learn the other half. Now, if you could think of a toddler learning to walk, when a toddler is learning to walk, it stands up, it falls down, it giggles, it stands up, it falls down. Now, as a parent, you wouldn't actually say that's a bad thing, you just fell. You wouldn't make judgments on the child, and the child hasn't developed an analytical part of its brain to identify itself with the fall, and the kid just kind of experiments and without any judgment and having a lot of fun, learns how to walk. And that is the state of mind that enables a child to absorb so much information in the first 5 years of its life. And then we get to a certain age and it starts to develop a conscious mind, and it becomes self-conscious. And generally what happens is you, for example, in golf, what happens in golf is that you have a bad day and your drive or whatever goes off to the side, and you say, shit, that was a really bad drive, I need to try better. And then what happens is you have another bad drive because now you're trying, and then you say, you know, I'm having a really bad game, and then that quickly moves from I am a bad driver or I can't drive. And then what happens is that becomes a program in your brain now that won't actually move. And that's exactly how it goes, and that's why your game gets more and more difficult. But if you think about any game that you've ever played that's been really good, it's always been one of these days where you haven't been thinking about it and you just allow it to happen.